Hello, everyone. Joseph Stephen Skoda, the third, aye. Oh, we have Jesse Oakley, our past district governor and international director. He's Jesse Oakley, aye. I rarely say that. So I'm going to say aye today. Joseph Stephen Skoda, aye. And I'm past District 33 director. I don't even know how many years ago, 3, 4, 5. It seems like yesterday was probably a decade ago, but I'm still active and very much interested in what we do in Toastmasters. And we have this series that we started about a year ago called Meet Our District 33 Family. And it's so important that we focus and learn and mostly, yeah, learn about people's stories that's part of our family and what they're doing, how long they've been involved with Toastmasters, and basically find out how it's helping them in their future and in their present occupation. I have the privilege to introduce a fellow division director. So we were division directors together, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago. So please help me welcome Laquita Dukes. How you doing, Laquita?
Good. I'm good tonight. Thank you.
We were division directors. What was that? 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Yes, 2017 and 18.
something like that. Now, was that under Guy or Debbie? That
That
was
was
Guy,
under
right?
Guy.
That was under Guy.
Definitely Guy.
It
Yes.
was a whole different district back then because, well, Las Vegas was part of the district, and that was a whole different kind of challenges because our fellow division directors were also in Nevada, so it was a huge district. Remember that experience?
Loved it. I love being
Well,
part of that huge district with Las Vegas.
it was a lot of fun. We got to travel a lot and we got to know each other a little bit because of that experience. Well, first of all, where are you from exactly? Where do you live now and where are you originally from?
Well, Joseph, originally from Detroit, Michigan.
They had
And
a
I
good football game today. They looked good in football today.
the
The Lions.
Lions, yeah,
Yep.
they have a good team this year.
Yep.
Did they win?
Yep.
Good. Very good. Yeah, so I'm from Detroit, Michigan, grew up there, went to high school, then decided to go off for college and leave Detroit for a while. Went to a legacy school down in Alabama by the name of Tuskegee Institute. My father went there, his brothers went there, my brother, my sister. So it's a tradition in our family to go to Tuskegee. And I
Wow.
went there for 4 years, had a great time. Then I went off to different um, internships during the summer because
Right.
I was in computer science. And at each internship, I got a chance to be introduced to Toastmasters. So that was the first time I was introduced to Toastmasters when I was off trying to get some experience in my job. So they bring in the summer hires. I was one of the summer hires, enjoyed Toastmasters, and decided after I finished college and went out and worked on my own, I'd find another chapter, and I did.
So you
So
you
that's the
started
beginning.
you started Toastmasters in Alabama? Is
No,
that
not
correct?
Alabama.
Oh,
I went to first. I went to Vermont, Burlington, Vermont, International
okay.
Business Machines.
Okay.
I believe they had one there.
IBMs. Yes.
Do you remember IBM?
I do.
So all of these big companies, I think even General Dynamics, when I went off to General Dynamics out here in Pomona, California, they had a chapter. So I tried to seek out the Toastmasters chapters wherever I went. And then when I went off to work after graduating, I went to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, and
Very,
they had
very
a
proud.
wonderful chapter there. Got very involved in Toastmasters, became the president and all of the officers' positions I held. It was an outstanding chapter.
Wow. So my understanding is you've been a Toastmaster 10, 11 years?
Yes, plus times three or four. So it's been a long time that I've been a Toastmaster. Hasn't been consecutive years,
Sure.
but wherever I went to work, I found a chapter and joined.
Did your job usually ask you to do so, or just something you enjoy doing?
No, it was all volunteer. I was never asked to join Toastmasters by my supervisor or any of the management. It was there in the company, and I found it, enjoyed it because it helped me learn to communicate. I always had a problem with stuttering. I always had a
Oh,
problem with giving speeches. My throat would tighten up and I couldn't talk. I would forget part of my speech or why I was up there because I was
yeah.
so nervous. So those were the things that were happening, when I left college, and I decided to stick with Toastmasters to try to um, improve my skills.
So you're saying even through college, you had some difficulty, well, speaking in a public atmosphere, correct?
Right,
Funny,
right.
college doesn't really prepare all of us for what life has in store for us. It's very interesting. And even if we're in the background, we still have to speak and communicate with people. And it's very interesting that we learn these skills in this organization called Toastmasters. Pretty good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you live on the Central Coast. You're part of Division A. Palmdale, Lancaster, I get them mixed up all the time.
Right. I live in Palmdale, which is south of Lancaster, and it is also south of Edwards Air Force Base where I work. So I commute to work when I do into the office. Right now, we're teleworking most of the week, which is ideal.
Good for you.
It takes about 45 to 50 minutes to get to Edwards to my office. So it's nice to be able to work from home most of the week.
Wow, and that's good. I know I served in the Air Force, and you're serving in the Air Force as a civilian, and that's kind of a big deal. But I remember passing through Edwards a couple times, and we've got together and had lunch, and you showed me your office and the Toastmasters Club and the building next to you, and if I'm not mistaken, you even or maybe your whole group takes turns driving the shuttle bus from the gate just to get on base because it's a long way. You still do that when you go to work? The shuttle bus?
No, no, the shuttle bus would pick us up in Palmdale actually, and then bring us all the way to base, and then we catch it back home. That's a nice incentive that the government gives its employees, but you have to ride that bus at least 4 times a week in order to get the benefit. So now that I'm just coming once a week, I can't take the shuttle. I have to drive
On
in.
your own.
Right.
So if you take the shuttle, I'm figuring that's almost a 10-hour day.
Oh,
Taking
yes,
everyone,
with
something
the
like
commute,
that's a long day.
for sure.
God bless you. God bless you. I appreciate that. Well, that's pretty exciting. And those people are not familiar with Edwards Air Force Base and in that area. It's right outside of California City. It's a desert. There's a lot of sand and dirt and dust everywhere. You can't even see the base really from the highway because all the compounds are in there. So, what made you take a job there? How'd you find that position?
Well, I was actually working in Georgia where
Okay,
I raised my 4 children and 4 children. I was teaching at Albany State University,
yeah,
which was also a nice benefit. Got some practice in speaking and instructing as a computer science instructor. Also
yeah,
math and engineering, had lots of those courses, but that gave me some practice in speaking. So we were in Georgia, and I decided that I wanted a full-time job. That was a part-time job for me.
sure.
So I started applying to the bases because I worked at Eglin before I had
Right.
children, came to Georgia, worked for the school, and decided I wanted another full-time job. Applied and applied. And after about 2 or 3 years, it takes that long sometimes,
It's
I
okay.
got an offer from Edwards Air Force Base and took all 4 children out here to California, and
Yeah.
some of them started high school. One of my youngest started elementary here, and I had another one who was in middle school. They were in all different levels, but
Wow.
we had a great time coming out here and getting acclimated to California. And that's when I found Sound Barriers Toastmaster, which is
Sound
at
barrier.
Edwards Air Force Base. Joined it the first year. I've been with Sound Barriers for 18 years. and thoroughly enjoying that club. We'll be celebrating our 45th year next year, 2024.
Really? I hope I get an invitation to your big celebration. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I remember going to that club, I don't know, probably a couple, two or three times at different events, and it's always a good place to be. If you can find it, I mean, just find the base, it's hard enough, but I know where you're located. I know how to get there. What about your children? Are any of them involved in Toastmasters, or are they just supporting mom all the way?
My oldest
Yeah.
was is a member, current member. He's a member of Sound Barriers. So
All right.
this last year, he came to just about all the meetings. He served as an officer, as a vice president of membership. Now he has moved on to another base, McGuire, Fort Dix,
New Jersey,
Lakehurst,
really?
and New
Wow.
Jersey. Right. There is a Toastmasters Club there. And I told him, if you don't join that Toastmasters Club, you can still come to ours because we do a hybrid situation at Sound Barrier. So you can just Zoom in and join our meetings. But he's a member. And then my second to the oldest, Daniel,
Yeah.
came to a lot of our conferences when we were with Vegas,
Oh, yeah.
and he supported me in my speech contest. So, and I did a lot of speeches about Daniel because he's a character. But I
He
enjoyed that. And
falls
then
after his mother, follows his mother.
my third child, Philip, was also a Toastmaster.
Yeah.
He was a Toastmaster here in Palmdale and Lancaster. So he belonged to Crown Valley Toastmaster, which is in Acton. That was when we were meeting in person. He enjoyed that
Mm,
thoroughly. And my son Philip is has autism.
okay.
That particular experience with Toastmasters really gave him confidence in speaking, and the members embraced him. So he grew those 2 or 3 years that he was with Crown Valley Toastmasters. And
Wow.
my last daughter, my last child,
Mhm.
Hannah, has not joined Toastmasters, but she has supported me at many of the conferences.
Okay, so I see her Christmas gift as a membership to Toastmasters. That's great. Great. That's great. No, that's a big deal. Getting our children involved. Both of my boys have been involved at different times. I helped them accomplish different things in their life. Now, you've been a Toastmaster a long time, and division director, a director, president, how many clubs, and be involved in contests. We did a lot of these things together. That was so much fun. We did them together virtually, even though I visited more clubs ever before. The connection isn't quite there. Are you finding, well, hybrid clubs are pretty good, but are you finding some challenges keeping those hybrid clubs going or those connections going strong?
I think so. Yes, absolutely. We, in some ways, it helps us also, especially at
Oh,
Edwards Air Force Base, because we have a lot of people who telework. So we have the option. Actually, we have more people come to the in person meeting, the conference room, and then they call us up and we Zoom in. But it's usually more people in the conference room than it is on Zoom. So I believe that's the trend now. More and more people are getting back to work
mhm.
and wanting to do that in person conference and Toastmasters meetings. So that's working for us. Now I have another club, Cal City Club. They like to
Yeah.
do totally Zoom, and that's
Okay.
because they're in different locations in the community, so they can't always meet in one area. So that works for them. The Rocketeers at the Air Force Research Lab at Edwards Air Force Base. That's a club that I started a few years ago, or restarted a few years ago, and they meet in person. They don't have a Zoom option. So you actually have to drive all the way out to this remote area and meet with them, but it works for them because most of the people in that club are working there. So we have lots of different options. My special edition club in
Yeah.
the Lancaster area is all Zoom. We don't
Wow.
meet in person, but we still have a great connection because we not only have people in Lancaster, we have people in Bakersfield who are part of that club. So it works for everybody. We also have an Arizona member as part of special edition. It brings us together in many ways and it has advantages.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if you know or not. I'm the president of a club that's actually chartered in Singapore. And because of Zoom or we call Zoom Airways or airlines, we have members from fifteen different countries are represented in this particular club. I love everything except it's like 5 o'clock Saturday morning. It's kind of early for me, but we meet every couple of weeks. So we have past international presidents, international directors, regional advisors, district directors, guests from all over the world come chime in from time to time. It's so amazing. So what
Yes.
keeps you motivated to be involved with so many clubs at a time?
I enjoy the process that we have in our meetings. And the process is welcoming guests, encouraging them to speak during the meetings,
Yeah,
making them aware of the mission of Toastmasters, which is basically to improve their communication skills. And they're always interested in that. And that's why they come. They come and sit down and they see that we have an organized meeting, that we have the inspiration, we have the pledge, we have joke master, we make it fun, table topics, evaluations. All of those things really impress our guests. And some are intimidated a bit, but after a while, they warm up to us and start participating. That's what gets me excited. When I see someone else enjoying improving their skills, like I did when I was back in college and all throughout my my life
couple
with
years ago.
Toastmasters.
Right.
So those are though that's why I get excited about Toastmasters because I see the benefit to
Sure.
not only myself because I get to help other people, but also to the people who are receiving that help and who are learning from me. I'm learning from them. We learn from each other, and
Sure.
it's uplifting. It's inspiring.
Now, you're right. That's exciting. And quick questions. I've seen you compete at several contests over the last several years. What makes you motivated to compete in the clubs and move further on? What makes you want to be a competitor?
It's a challenge. Participating in the speech contest, that gets me outside my box. Now, my box is just the meetings. I enjoy the meetings. I can go to meetings
Sure.
all day long.
Sure.
But the speech contests, those are challenges. You have to actually develop that speech, make it interesting, make it humorous a bit, and you have to make sure that you have developed all of those skills in order to compete. Once you compete, you have to control that nervousness. So everything that we're working on in Toastmasters comes together in speech contests. So I try to do those every few years just to challenge myself to see if I can still do it and control all of those butterflies in my stomach and give an intelligent and competent and humorous
Sure.
presentation. It also helps me with things that I'm going through in my life. I've noticed that I've chosen topics for my speech contest that have to do with my children or with life experiences. So just doing that also helps me deal with situations in my life, like my son graduating from high school or my
Sure.
son graduating from college and going out into the world and leaving me. So those sorts of things, help to talk about and present so that you can work through it and share with others. And what I found out is there's always someone else having that same experience. And they come up and talk to me after the speech, and we have a great conversation and share.
Wow. Sure. That's a good point because you're a strong competitor and you're a hard. I'm trying to make up my mind to join the next competition, and I'm like, why not? What's because that's how we become better. That's how, like you said, we put everything together that we learn, and that's a big deal. What do you do on Edwards Air Force Base? What's your position?
Well, my position is computer scientist, which was my major at Tuskegee. Institute way back when. I got my master's at University of Southern California in computer science. That's
Wow.
my field. So I've always been in this field. I've enjoyed it. And that's what I'm currently doing now for Edwards Air Force Base. I have a team of people who work for me. You know, when you get to a certain age and you've done a lot of things, they make you a supervisor. So I'm a supervisor. I enjoy my team because we do state of the art activities for software in the Air Force, lots of innovative things going on, and it's exciting being part of configuration management, quality assurance, and testing software.
Wow. You think you'll ever retire, or you just love it too much?
No, I don't think I'll ever retire. I am enjoying this so much, but I do have one more daughter who's trying
Yeah,
to get through college. The
sure.
other three sons graduated from college, so they're out and doing their own thing. So I
Yeah.
have one daughter who needs that support. I will be working until she graduates.
Your children are very fortunate to have you as a mother.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, that's a big deal. We have to support our children, and I know trying to keep my children interested in Toastmasters is tough because it just has to click with you. It has to be the right time, the right place. I never heard of Toastmasters till I was in my 40s. In my 40s, never heard of it. I don't think I did. And I joined not too long after hearing about it. But the first year, I wasn't taking it seriously. I didn't. I loved the networking. I loved socializing. I loved the people I met, the friendships, the parties we'd go. That was fun. But it took me about a year to realize this is a real program to help me become better, just a better person overall. Did it take you that long to figure things out, or maybe I'm just a slow learner?
I knew it was helping me all throughout the time that I was interning, and then when I went to the different companies and got different jobs all over the country, when I went
Yeah.
to the two different Air Force bases, Eglin and Edwards, I knew it was helping me, you know, improve my skills. So I didn't have a problem with that. But I did notice when I joined Sound Barriers and became part of District 33 that there was a lot of emphasis on getting your DTM. I
What's the
had thought of
DTM?
Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest award that you can get in Toastmasters.
Yeah.
I had no inspiration to get my DTM otherwise. I just wanted to speak and improve my skills all this time. But when I got into District 33, I realized that's a goal that I can shoot for. So I did start working on the DTM after I got to Edwards, after all these years, and accomplished that. But it's certainly worth the effort. It
Yeah.
keeps you focused on those skills and training pathways, things we have in place in order to become a better communicator. So I'm glad that I did. It also made me a better leader. In order to get your DTM, you have to become a leader. So
If you like
I
it or
did,
not.
and I did serve, and I enjoyed every minute that I served. So it was well worth it.
I know. I think we got our DTMs probably near the same time or a year apart from each other or something. And I didn't know how important that was, but it's a big deal. They say a DTM, a Distinguished Toastmaster designation, is equivalent to a master's degree in communication and leadership. And we all need to strive for that, if nothing else, for our own personal goals. Well, that's a big deal. Now, Eglin and Air Force and Edwards are two completely different Air Force bases. I've been to both, and they both have good points and their own challenges. I'm not going to ask you which is your favorite. Obviously, you made California your home. And I was at Eglin probably 5 or 6 years ago, was the last time I was in that area. And I used to spend a lot of time at Herbert Field and Fort Walton Beach. That's a beautiful area, not too far from Eglin, one of my favorite places to ever be stationed. So, really quick, where do you see Toastmasters taking you to the future? I know you do things outside of your job and outside of Toastmasters. I think you've been involved in a couple other different clubs or organizations. Tell us a little bit about how this has helped you there.
Toastmasters has opened up doors for me, actually. And starting clubs, I've started, I see the Rocketeers, I started the City of Lancaster, I started the NASA club on
Sure,
base,
sure.
and I've been members of members of a member of about three or four other different clubs. So those have it has opened doors for me, introduced me to some fantastic people like you, Joseph.
I do.
And and that experience is wonderful to meet people who are of of the same mindset, who want to improve themselves, who
Sure.
want to do better in their professional and personal lives is definitely worth the time that we spend with Toastmasters. And when I was Division A director, I spent a lot of time leading and managing and planning. It was like almost like a second full-time job. And I spoke
Yes.
to another uh, director last Friday night. We had an open house for Division A here in Palmdale, and he said the same thing. He says I spend about as much time being a director as I do on my professional job. But once you serve that year or two, you realize how beneficial it was to you because it made me a better leader. So that's what I get out of Toastmasters. As I said, I've started clubs. I've worked with the Antelope Valley Queens competition.
Yeah.
I help them with their speaking, with their presentation, with their walk on the stage. That's been exciting. I've worked with my sorority on speaking contests for high schools down in Oxnard. My chapter is down in Oxnard. I work with the Cal State um, university system
Hmm.
on people who want to improve their graduate studies and do projects. All of that has to do with speaking and presenting yourself in communication. So Toastmasters has prepared me for all of these extracurricular things that I do, not only here in Palmdale, Lancaster, but in other places.
That's amazing. I always say if you want something done, ask someone busy. Ask someone who's busy, and because we just it's time management, and we realize the benefit of this organization, and regardless of how many hours we put in, we had some good time. It's all worth it because we really, I believe, we really are touching lives in addition to making ourselves just a little bit better. So, anyways, any last minute comments you want to leave to our District 33 family and anyone else that might want to make Toastmasters a career?
I want to encourage anyone who's thinking about improving their speaking skills to definitely seek out a Toastmasters club that fits your needs. And every Toastmasters club is different. I encourage people to visit more than one before you
Yes,
actually join to see if you fit with the clubs that you visit. You can join more than one, of course, but
of course.
find one that's a good fit for you and start with that one. And that will improve your confidence, your communication skills. You'll see a difference in your professional life and your personal life. As I said, I've been with Toastmasters for over 30 years. I always say 30 plus, but over 30 years. And it has certainly made a difference in my life. So I want to encourage everyone else to take part in Toastmasters so it'll help you too.
Thank you so much, Laquita. I can't agree with you more. So we really are thank you, or the district thanks you for sharing your story a little bit. And there's so much more to learn. And hopefully people look you up in Palmdale, Lancaster, Division A, or anywhere in the world and find out just a little bit more about you and what makes you tick. So, anyways, District 33 family. This is how we learn about each other and what we all do. And we just encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like and share what we have on Facebook. And more importantly, get involved with what Toastmasters has to offer because it's a great organization. It's touched Lakita's life as well as mine in so many different ways. And because of it, I think we're just a little bit better than we were before. So that being said, I salute you, Laquita. You're awesome. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Joseph. Good night.
Mm.